All right, good morning again, and welcome to the 2023 National Network Convening for NSF's Bernice Johnson Includes Initiative. We are looking forward to a great, productive time together this week. It already started yesterday with pre-convening sessions with our alliances, and we're excited to see the work, the ideas, and the collaborations continue today. The National Science Foundation is pleased to support, includes, and its vision of a STEM workforce that reflects the nation's population. We're also pleased to partner through a cooperative agreement with the Includes Coordination Hub. And so I want to thank all of the Hub team members that are helping from near and from far to make this convening a success. Here to represent SRI, which is the lead organization for the Hub Award, is Vanessa Coleman. Unfortunately, Andrea Venezia, the Coordination Hub Director, can't be here this week due to health reasons, but Vanessa is representing SRI in Andrea's stead. Vanessa has been working with the Hub team, and you can come on up, Vanessa. Vanessa's been working with the Hub team, and she brings research, technical assistance, and change management experience to the work of broadening participation. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Vanessa.
Good morning, everyone. I am Vanessa. As Tori said, welcome. We are excited to have you all here. Do I have a thumbs up about the video? Yes? No? Okay, we're gonna keep it moving. You'll do it? Okay. All right, we're going to switch a few things around, and I'm going to turn it back over to you to make the introductions to the NSF staff. And then we'll make some adjustments.
All right, sounds good. All right, well, this morning you're going to hear from 3 distinguished leaders at the National Science Foundation. We'll start off with the NSF Director, Dr. Sethuraman Panchanathan, followed by the Assistant Director for STEM Education, Dr. James Elmore III, and then the Acting Assistant Director for the Social, Behavioral, and Economic Sciences Directorate, Dr. Sylvia Butterfield. Each of their bios is in your convening program, and it has much more detail. But the first to provide welcome remarks will be the director, and I have the pleasure of introducing him. The Honorable Sethuraman Panchanathan is a computer scientist and engineer, and the 15th director of the U.S. National Science Foundation. NSF, as you may know, is a $9.5 billion independent federal agency and the only government agency that's charged with advancing all fields of scientific discovery, technological innovation, and STEM education. Dr. Panchanathan has a distinguished career in STEM, science, technology, engineering, math, and education that spans more than 3 decades. He's a fellow of the National Academy of Inventors, the American Association for the Advancement of Science, and the Association for Computing Machinery, and other prestigious science and engineering organizations. So with that, we are going to turn our attention to the screens and hear from Dr. Panchanathan.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2023 National Network Convening for NSF's Bernice Johnson Includes Initiative. My name is Sethuraman Panchanathan, and I'm the 15th director of the U.S. National Science Foundation. Last September, at a special ceremony on Capitol Hill, I announced the renaming of NSF's Includes to NSF's Bernice Johnson Includes Initiative. It was an amazing moment. The renaming of this flagship program not only recognizes and honors the trailblazing career of former Congresswoman Bernice Johnson. It is also a tribute to her unwavering dedication to broadening participation in science and engineering, as well as creating opportunities for everyone to participate in our nation's STEM enterprise. In 2016, the National Science Foundation unveiled a set of 10 big ideas. These were bold, long-term research and process ideas that identified key areas for future investment, with the potential to push the frontiers of discovery and innovation across our nation. NSF Includes was one of those big ideas. And today, 7 years after its inception, I'm proud to say that your tremendous efforts have made it more than just a big idea. The Includes National Network, our grantees, partners, and affiliates are strengthening the national STEM enterprise and workforce by increasing the participation of populations that continue to be underrepresented across our country, in our territories and affiliated islands. For example, researchers in the Includes Seas Islands Alliance are incorporating indigenous cultural heritage and expertise into toolkits and dramatically broadening their participants' sense of belonging in STEM programs and STEM classrooms. Thanks to your hard work and creative collaborations, the new STEM tapestry is enriched with African Americans, Hispanics, Native Alaskans, Native Americans, Native Hawaiians, Pacific Islanders, and other groups with dreams of being part of these new and growing STEM communities. However, we know that there are still millions more talented individuals who want their own chance to participate in STEM and to become partners in solving real-world problems as well as revitalizing their communities. We cannot leave their talent and ideas behind. We must also recognize that groundbreaking discoveries that shape our world do not happen on their own. It is therefore imperative that we generate diversity and opportunity throughout the STEM enterprise with increased participation of underrepresented populations from diverse institutions in every single community in the country. We do this by insisting that all educational and workplace policies, practices, and environments are inclusive. NSF is committed to ensuring that everything we do is grounded in the principles of accessibility and inclusion for all. It is these values that will keep us at the vanguard of discovery and innovation for decades to come. NSF's investments in the Includes initiative's groundbreaking work across this country will undoubtedly make our STEM ecosystem stronger and more vibrant. However, it is critical that we continue to act with intention and purpose. Over the next 2 days, you will share reports and findings that demonstrate the Includes initiative's progress towards measuring the effectiveness of the latest collaborative contributions and efforts for broadening participation in the US STEM enterprise. These reports not only showcase our grantees' transformative projects nationwide, but also highlight the significant impact of NSF Includes initiative investments. Your meeting this week is an excellent opportunity not only to share this progress, but also to strengthen the nation's STEM infrastructure by building additional collaborations for broadening participation and accelerating change. Embodied in this year's theme, Sustaining Equity-Driven Systems Change, is the charge to be strategic and creative in thinking about how best to utilize and share our resources. I challenge each of you to reach out across the science and engineering community and beyond to build new and enduring partnerships. I extend my sincerest gratitude and appreciation to each of you here today for your hard work, dedication, and commitment to broadening participation across all STEM fields and fighting for increased diversity and inclusion among underrepresented populations. Together, our collective impact will create a stronger, more equitable scientific STEM enterprise for all. Have a great meeting. But before I sign off, it's a pleasure to introduce my friend and colleague, Dr. James Moore, Assistant Director for NSF's Directorate for STEM Education, and our senior leader for all things STEM education, from K-12 to career and workforce development. He's a valuable resource. James?
Good morning. All right, if you just stand up and give yourself a hearty round of applause, and I'm going to tell you why you need to give yourself a hearty round of applause. You may sit down. You all represent the groundswell of NSF Includes. It was birthed and rooted out of the importance of inclusion, but more importantly, how partnerships and collaborations can produce the groundswell all across of America. We know talent exists in all around the country, but we know that opportunities do not always prevail. This program is a collective framework, a framework that is utilized to bring multiple entities together to broadening participation in STEM. The work we do at NSF is noble, it's transformative. You never doubt when you walk in that building that you're doing something on behalf of our nation. You all, in many ways, are public servants. You may not have ever seen yourself. We knighted you when we invested in your projects. In many ways, we're more than bricks and mortar, the hall of NSF. We're a living organization, and we live through your practices, your engagement, through the proposals that you submitted. There's a time right now, even more, for this initiative to have even greater impact than what it has. I'm so excited that we're able to engage again. We haven't come together since 2019. And slowly but surely, we're reclaiming our humanity. The pandemic thought it had us against our back, but we prevailed. And all walks of life came together when our backs were against the wall, that we were able to utilize science, technology, and ways to combat the pandemic. We have a pandemic right now, metaphorically speaking, that many people are retreating on some of the many gains that we have made. But we must continue to develop the resolve. We must come together. This meeting, this summit, gives us an opportunity to refresh, to retool, to recalibrate, and put our foot on the accelerator. At NSF, we haven't wavered in our commitment to inclusion and broadening participation. These things are national security and economic imperatives. Arguably, today is more important than any other time. At NSF, we're very excited that our nation made a tremendous investment in our agency and saw NSF as playing a pivotal role to advancing economic prosperity as well as advancing our workforce and preparing individuals for not just for STEM opportunities, but to be a part of the new frontier of STEM innovation. You all play a role in ways that you probably cannot even imagine. See, in EDU, we have our foot on the pedal. We're vigilant in our quest to reach what our director has outlined as we must create more opportunities for all. Not only we must create opportunities for all, we must reach those individuals, those millions of individuals who are not at the table because they haven't been inspired or cultivated. But more importantly, it's because the people that are around them don't see the assets before them. It's really important that we continue to make investments, and CHIPS and Science gave us that ability to make even greater investments. Investments in like NSF Includes. But we need for you to continue to keep your foot on the accelerator and continue to make those immense that make the immense progress that you outline in your proposals. There are a lot of changes in EDU. Our name changed, and some people like to think I changed it. It was going downstream, and all I did was sign the paperwork. We have a new name, and we have a name that reflects the diversity of our portfolio in ways, and we're very excited about that. So don't be disillusioned, and we certainly won't penalize you when you say the Directorate for Education and Human Resources, because people in the building still do the same thing. The CHIPS and Science legislation was groundswell. Arguably, we haven't seen a legislation like this of its kind since the agency was founded nearly 75 years ago. Here we are, full circle. Our agency was founded in the 50s when Russia launched the Sputnik. And if anyone lived in that time, I wasn't born in that time, but certainly I read a lot about it. And it's sort of like a full circle moment. What did we learn in 75 years? Maybe we learned a lot, but we repeated some of the same things. Or maybe we got idle. This group, we cannot afford to be idle. More importantly, we need collaborations of all kinds, partnerships of all kinds. And more importantly, it is an imperative that we do so. You know, we funded a number of projects that we're really excited about. And we're going to continue to fund even more projects that we are equally excited about. One that comes to mind that if you go to social media, it seems like it's on social media every other day. Do we have representatives from Clark, Atlanta in here? Clark, Atlanta, let's get them a round of applause. We funded them $10 million. You know, it's an investment. We invest in people and ideas. And so we're always looking for ideas and people who can carry those ideas to the new frontier. We're excited about Clark, Atlanta, and their quest to proliferate data scientists and diversify in that arena. There's an immense opportunity. It's a hub in Atlanta. But we like to think there are many other strands that could be connected to that. We're also excited about a recent project that we funded at the University of Montana. Do we have representatives from Montana? This project is an alliance. The title of the group is Circles, addressing the severe underrepresentation of indigenous and native people in STEM disciplines. We believe that this program is going to create a groundswell, and it cuts across many states: Idaho, Montana, New Mexico, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Wyoming. They're going to play a critical role. So this is an alliance, but it's one that everybody can plug into. As an alliance, it's sort of like we're our brother's keeper, we're our sister's keeper, we're a community. And we're a community that will thrive as we continuously begin to harness the assets that people bring. These are examples of just a drop in the bucket of some of the different programs we funded. And we have many more that we will fund. Believe me, the budget is not nearly as big as I want it to be. And I'm hoping, and I'm always priming the pump, because every time I know when I get out, someone's going to say, we need more money. I know. I come prepared for that. And believe me, Tori is an ambassador. When I meet with her, and I know she's going to say, well, we could do that, but I need more money, right? But we know if I had $1 billion, and I would take it, it still wouldn't be enough money. When I came to NSF, I thought, man, they told me our budget going to be $1 billion. It's like $1.3 billion. I'm thinking like, wow, I ain't never had a budget like this, right? So it was scary, right? And like the first week, we transferring $100 million, right? I've been working at Ohio State for For 20 years, I've never had that much. You can do the aggregate of the budget and never had $100 million. But something that I recognize, you can have the money, but if you don't have the soldiers that are committed to making this happen, we won't be able to achieve the objectives that we want. See, NSF is different from the other broadening participation program. It's built around collaborations and partnerships. And we recognize in our agency, at first I couldn't understand why the director was pushing that we need to collaborate. Why do we need to collaborate with industry and all these places? Because we got money and we can just make money in the federal government. But I recognize that we want these partnerships because it catalyzes new opportunities and our ability to fund more investigators. So we partner with our colleagues throughout the federal government, NASA, NIST, USGS, NIH, just to name a few that we've collaborated. They took the concept of includes and recognized how includes can play a critical role for their vision and their priorities. You know, I won't be long-winded, but it's very important for us to hear. I want to give just a personal anecdote, and then I want to introduce the star of the show. So that's why they had to get me and Punch out first, because Sylvia, when she comes, she certainly would rock the crowd. So I want to say this. If you didn't know it, you're probably hearing it in my voice. I'm a native of South Carolina, and all that I am, that I hope to be, is shaped by my experience growing up in South Carolina. And I was invited in this role to go, and they didn't know I was from South Carolina. To you can hear it, but when I go back, they don't think I'm from there anymore. But nevertheless, I was talking to the education legislators on the House and the Senate side from both parties. And one legislator said to me, he says, Dr. Moore, in my county, I have 900 kids, and we only have one math teacher, and the highest math you can take is algebra. Now, to me, my heart is broken. That's my home, but it's not unique to my home. It's in Appalachia, it's in the Delta region of Mississippi and Arkansas, it's in the Black Belt of Alabama. I think you all know what I'm talking about. It's in Youngstown, Ohio. It's in Gary, Indiana. It's all across America. No matter how smart young people are, when you don't have access to preparation, so many of the kids will foreclose on their dreams and aspirations. So when you wake up at night and you feel like you have a rainy day, you think about